In 1997, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration recorded a sound in the deep Pacific Ocean that remains unexplained to this day. They called it the bloop. It was ultra-low frequency, incredibly powerful, loud enough to be detected by sensors over 3,000 miles apart. For scale, that's like hearing a whisper in London from New York. The sound lasted for about 1 minute. Then it stopped. And it never repeated. When scientists first analyzed the recording, they noticed something disturbing. The audio profile of the bloop matched the pattern of a biological sound, the kind of sound made by a living creature. But here's the problem. To produce a sound that loud at that frequency, the creature would need to be significantly larger than a blue whale. Several times larger. And no known animal on Earth is that big. NOAA later attributed the bloop to an icequake, the sound of a large iceberg cracking and scraping against the ocean floor near Antarctica. Case closed. Except that not everyone is convinced. And the deeper you go into ocean acoustics, the more sounds you find that don't have easy explanations. The ocean is full of voices. We just don't know who's speaking. To understand what might live at the bottom of the ocean, you first need to understand how deep the bottom actually is. And the numbers are almost impossible to comprehend. The average depth of the ocean is about 12,100 feet. That's over 2 miles straight down. If you took the Empire State Building and dropped it into the ocean, it would disappear completely, and you'd need to stack 8 more on top of it before the tip of the last one broke the surface. The deepest point on Earth is the Challenger Deep in the Mariana Trench, 36,000 feet below sea level. If you put Mount Everest at the bottom of the Challenger Deep, its peak would still be over a mile underwater. At those depths, the pressure is over 15,000 pounds per square inch. That's roughly the equivalent of 50 jumbo jets stacked on top of you. There's no sunlight. The temperature hovers just above freezing. And yet, life exists down there. Not just bacteria. Not just microbes. Complex, multicelled organisms that have evolved in conditions that would crush, freeze, and starve anything from the surface. They've been down there for millions of years. And we've barely begun to catalog them. Scientists divide the ocean into 5 layers, like a vertical cake of increasing darkness and pressure. The sunlight zone at the top. The twilight zone below that. Then the midnight zone, the abyssal zone, and finally, below 20,000 feet, the Hadal zone. Named after Hades, the Greek god of the underworld. The name is not an accident. The Hadal zone consists of the deep ocean trenches, massive scars in the Earth's crust where tectonic plates collide and one slides beneath the other. There are 33 Hadal trenches worldwide, and together they represent the deepest and least explored habitat on the planet. More people have walked on the surface of the moon than have visited the Hadal zone. Only 3 people have ever reached the bottom of the Challenger Deep. The first was Jacques Picard in 1960, the second was James Cameron in 2012, and the third was Victor Vescovo in 2019. What they found down there was both beautiful and deeply unsettling. Life. In a place where, by all logic, life should not exist. Shrimp-like amphipods the size of rabbits. Translucent sea cucumbers drifting like ghosts. And in the sediment at the very bottom, bacteria that may be among the oldest living things on Earth, surviving on chemicals seeping from the planet's interior. The Hadal zone is not dead. It's ancient. And it's been evolving in the dark for longer than humans have existed on the surface. Every time we send a camera or a submersible to the deep ocean, we find something we've never seen before. Not variations of known species, genuinely new categories of life that challenge our understanding of biology. The anglerfish, with its bioluminescent lure dangling in front of rows of transparent teeth, is perhaps the most famous deep-sea predator. But it's far from the strangest. The barrel-eye fish has a completely transparent skull. You can literally see its brain through its head. It uses upward-pointing tubular eyes to spot prey silhouetted against the faint light filtering down from above. The giant squid, long dismissed as a sailor's myth, wasn't filmed alive until 2004. It can grow to over 40 feet long, and its eyes, the size of dinner plates, are the largest in the animal kingdom. But the discoveries that truly unsettle scientists are the ones from hydrothermal vents. In 1977, researchers near the Galapagos Islands discovered entire ecosystems thriving around volcanic vents on the ocean floor, communities of giant tube worms, blind shrimp, and ghostly crabs living in water heated to over 700 degrees Fahrenheit. These organisms don't depend on sunlight. They feed on chemicals from the Earth's interior through a process called chemosynthesis. They are proof that life can exist without the sun. And that realization has changed how we think about life on other planets. The bloop isn't the only mysterious sound the ocean has produced. NOAA's hydrophone network, originally designed to detect Soviet submarines during the Cold War, has captured dozens of unidentified acoustic events from the deep ocean. There's the upsweep, a continuous sound detected since 1991 that rises in frequency over several seconds, repeating in a regular pattern. It seems to be coming from a volcanic region in the South Pacific, but no specific source has been identified. There's Julia, a sound recorded in 1999 that lasted 15 seconds and sounded, to many listeners, like a moan or a wail. NOAA attributed it to an iceberg running aground, but the recording is haunting regardless. And there's the slow down, a sound that gradually decreased in frequency over about 7 minutes, detected in 1997, the same year as the bloop. Scientists have reasonable explanations for most of these sounds. Ice. Volcanic activity. Tectonic shifting. But reasonable explanations and confirmed explanations are not the same thing. The ocean covers 71% of our planet's surface, and we've explored less than 20% of it. We're listening to a conversation we don't fully understand, in a room we've barely entered. Here's a statistic that should bother you. We have better maps of the surface of Mars than we do of our own ocean floor. We've sent rovers to Mars, probes to Saturn, and telescopes to the edge of the observable universe. But we've only mapped about 20% of the ocean floor at high resolution. Why? The answer is simple and frustrating: the deep ocean is harder to explore than outer space. In space, the biggest challenge is distance. But once you get there, you can see for millions of miles. In the deep ocean, the biggest challenges are pressure and darkness. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the pressure would crush any standard submarine like a soda can. Light doesn't penetrate below about 3,000 feet. Radar doesn't work underwater. GPS doesn't work underwater. Radio communication doesn't work underwater. To explore the deep ocean, you need a vehicle that can withstand pressures that would destroy a tank, navigate in total darkness, operate without any connection to the surface, and carry enough power to run lights, cameras, and sampling equipment for hours. These vehicles exist, but they cost between $20 and $40 million each. NASA's annual budget is $25 billion. NOAA's budget for ocean exploration is about $40 million. We spend more money looking for life on Mars in a single year than we've spent in the last decade exploring the world beneath our own feet. This is where science meets speculation. And honestly, the speculation isn't as wild as you might think. We discover between 15,000 and 18,000 new species every year. Most of them come from the ocean. In 2023, researchers in the Atacama Trench discovered over 100 species that had never been seen before, in a single expedition. Every time we look, we find something new. So what might we find in the 80% we haven't explored? Some marine biologists believe there are entire ecosystems around hydrothermal vents we haven't discovered yet, possibly supporting organisms larger and more complex than anything we've found so far. Others speculate about deep-sea gigantism, the phenomenon where deep ocean creatures grow much larger than their shallow water relatives. We've already found giant isopods the size of footballs, colossal squid over 40 feet long, and jellyfish with tentacles stretching over 100 feet. What else might be down there, growing in the dark, with no predators and millions of years of evolution? And then there's the most provocative question of all. The deep ocean has conditions remarkably similar to what we expect to find on Europa, Jupiter's ice-covered moon. If life can thrive in the crushing darkness of Earth's Hadal zone, feeding on chemicals instead of sunlight, then life could exist on Europa. Or Enceladus. Or any world with a subsurface ocean. The bottom of our ocean might be the closest thing we have to an alien world. And we've barely scratched the surface. But here's the final twist, and it's not a hopeful one. The deep ocean, which has remained essentially unchanged for millions of years, is now changing faster than at any point in recorded history. And it's our fault. Microplastics have been found at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. In the deepest, most remote place on Earth, we've left our garbage. Deep-sea mining operations are being planned that would strip mine the ocean floor for rare minerals, destroying ecosystems that took millennia to develop and that we don't even understand yet. Rising ocean temperatures are altering deep-water currents that regulate the planet's climate. We are changing a world we haven't even explored. The deep ocean is not a void. It's not empty. It's not irrelevant. It is the largest habitat on Earth, home to creatures we've never seen, producing sounds we can't explain, holding secrets we haven't earned the right to ignore. We've mapped Mars. We've photographed black holes. We've sent messages to stars we'll never visit. But the greatest mystery in the universe might be right here, 2 miles beneath the waves, in the dark, waiting to be found. What do you think is down there? Tell me in the comments. Subscribe to Dark Truth. The truth is always deeper than you think.